Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros MLB. This is Leading Off Live. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia. With me, of course, is Joe Orrico, because the Welsh has jazz hands all weekend. So Joe Orrico and I will be here today and tomorrow doing Leading Off for you. Don't worry, you're not going to miss any baseball here on the Twitch, twitch.tv/fantasypros. That's the place to be. Monday through Friday, obviously live, noon Eastern time. And of course, you can always watch us on our YouTube channel. Subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB. Drop your comments below. Ring the bell till it goes ding, and you might just win yourself the Cecil Fielder jersey. Only 4 days remain. Some lucky fan is going to get this Big Daddy Cecil Fielder autographed jersey from pristineauction.com. Again, how do you win it? You subscribe to the channel, you drop your comments below, and you subscribe to Fantasy Pros MLB. Like the stream, too, right now. Just click that little like button. We appreciate you. It's good to see all the peanuts and the Cracker Jacks. Joe Orrico, yesterday was a day about pitching in the major leagues. I think we can agree. So many pitching performances to get to, and I think we have to start with Jacob deGrom, and it's a good thing you're here for this one, because I am going to bow down to you. Joe Orrico is the better Joe. I was war torn, I should say, or worn and torn, or whatever, from years and years of Jacob deGrom, where I just couldn't get there again. And Jacob deGrom, as the season has gone on, has been terrific. He almost no-hit the Orioles yesterday. When I saw the no-hitter alert, all I kept thinking was like, oh, please give up a hit. I don't want to see him try to go to 120 pitches just to get a no-hitter. Yeah. That would make me really uncomfortable. But he moves to 8-2 with a 2.08 ERA. What'd you think of Jacob deGrom's performance? You had to be loving the fact that you were scheduled today on this show.
Oh, it warms my heart. It warms my heart whenever I get to talk about Jacob deGrom, but especially after that. I think it was perfect through 6, and I was getting the notifications and thinking, please, God. Like, I was kind of torn myself because I don't want to see him throw 130 pitches. Part of my whole reason for targeting Jacob deGrom this year was that he's going to try and keep himself more healthy. And he has. You know, he hasn't as much been going up over 100 miles an hour, and they haven't been stretching him too much with the pitch counts. But if he threw a perfect game yesterday, that would have been pretty damn cool. But I'm also not complaining about 7 shutout innings with 1 hit. I mean, he's been brilliant. He's the number 5 starting pitcher for the season, and to date, he's been more valuable than both Zack Wheeler and Paul Skeens. So I'm feeling pretty good, Joe.
Yeah, Paul Skeens, we're going to get to him in just a second. But first, in that same game, we got to get to Jacob Misiorowski, who had 8 strikeouts, allowed just 2 hits. So that's what now? Was that 4 hits and 3 starts? Is that where he's at right now? Right?
I think it's three hits.
All right, he's 3 because you only give up 1 and the other one 2. He's clearly regressing. Clearly, you know, every start, next thing you know, he'll give up 4 hits or 5 hits in a game. What are we going to do? But this was terrific to watch. Really fun. You know, Misiorowski, you know, the height, it just feels like the ball is just getting up on guys really quick. You know, it feels like he is, you know, like Randy Johnson was, where he's just kind of reaching out towards home plate, and it feels like the ball's just jumping on guys, and they have no idea right now. But he was absolutely terrific. He outdueled Paul Skeens, who had his worst start of his career, arguably. 4 runs, 4 innings for him. He had 1 really bad inning, but he's sitting at 4 wins still. And I keep saying the same thing, which is you can't win Cy Youngs with 4 wins, and I don't know if he can get to double digits on the Pirates this year. I just don't know. So it was interesting to see Paul Skeens be human, but it was even more interesting, at least to me, to see Jacob Misiorowski be more than human yesterday.
He's absolutely brilliant. You know, stuff is something that is kind of polarizing to some people, but like 125 is an eye-popping number. That is like would be at the top of the leaderboard if we're talking about qualified starters. Mm-hmm. I worry a little bit about the walk rate eventually coming back to bite him. It's always been like 13, 14, 15% in the minors. So that's something I do want to keep an eye on, but he is absolutely brilliant. I mean, I just worry a little bit about the Brewers just because of Henderson and how they treated him. I wonder if they're just going to take the reins off and let him just pitch the rest of the season. And it's kind of a debate amongst people about like where should Misiorowski slot in rest of season rankings. But I've seen him as high as top 25 in some people's lists, and it's kind of hard to argue it based on what we've seen.
Yeah, he's been terrific. He actually, after yesterday's start, moved to the number 1 in the Rookie of the Year in the National League too, by the way, which is pretty stunning. Which honestly, I kind of feel like I had mentioned it on a couple shows that I was on in the recent weeks where people were asking about Drake Baldwin and Augustin Ramirez. I'm like, no, it's not going to be a catcher, and it's certainly not going to be either of those guys. They've gotten kind of, colder as the season goes on. And I said, Misiorowski's really interesting. You know, at the time, I think he was 10 or 12 to 1. Now he's minus 120. This might be the last time you see value on it, dude, because I'm looking at it, Joe. And Bubba Chandler, we're not going to see. Matt Shaw isn't doing anything. Dylan Cruz is done. Like, where else is it coming from? To me, this might be the last time. And in fact, as I'm talking about it, as I'm talking myself through this, I'm betting on it. That's what I'm doing. You can see me looking off to the side. I'm just going to take it because I think a minus 120, whatever. I'll put a couple bucks on it and see where it goes. I just think at this point, that's it. Like the value is gone because if he has another 3 or 4 starts, this award's going to run away for him. Max Fried, another good start for him. He gave up 1 unearned run. He walked 1, 7 strikeouts. Again, just stellar against the Reds. Nick Pivetta, a great performance, 10 strikeouts. And Joe Ryan, 8 strikeouts, beat the Mariners. So my bets all went up in flames yesterday. But out of all these guys, he didn't have the highest strikeout total yesterday. It was Yusei Kikuchi with 12 Ks against the Red Sox. So, Joe, these were some massive strikeout performances. Which one of these stuck out to you the most yesterday?
Well, Joe Ryan is somebody that I have been really, really intrigued by. And it's not just with this season, it's looking back over the last couple of years about how underrated Joe Ryan really is. In terms of strikeout minus walk percentage since the start of 2023, only Tariq Skubal and Chris Sale do a better job in terms of striking out batters and keeping them off base with the free passes. Joe Ryan is an elite pitcher. But Yusei Kikuchi might be the guy that we need to hone in on here because he was pretty much unrosterable as of 3 or 4 weeks ago just because of that whip. Like the ERA was at 2.95 and the whip was at like 156. And since then, he has completely turned things around. And I was really surprised yesterday. I had a couple people asking sit start questions about Kikuchi. And I was saying to sit him because the Red Sox are really good against left-handed pitching. So that one took me by surprise.
I'm sure they loved you. After
yeah.
You're very
big
popular
fan
on the internet.
Big fan.
Yeah. But, Kikuchi a month and change ago was a sell. The strikeout rate was down. The walk rate was up. The expected ERA was higher than ERA. Whatever he's tweaked or figured out here, obviously it's working. Question here from Jerry. Will they trade deGrom? I don't think so. Not right now. I mean, they are only 2 games out of the wild card right now. And the Central's terrible. They're still 7.5 games out of the West. I just don't think they're going to do it. I really don't. I think that they're going to hang on this thing. Eovaldi's back too. So, I think they're going to try to pitch their way out of this and somehow just backdoor their way into the playoffs. Joe, do you see it differently? Because I just think they're going to ride this one out there. I mean, if they fall apart in July, okay, but I don't necessarily see that happening.
I think it would be pretty hard to find a trade partner. So he's still got a couple of years left on the contract. And as bullish as I was for this season, I'm not sure what my evaluation is going to be like of deGrom for the next couple of years. He turned 37 last week, 38 and 39-year-old Jacob deGrom, making $37 million. That's a lot of scroll. I don't know if their teams are going to want to pay that for a guy who may throw 10 starts for them. So,
I'll know a team. The Mets will pay it.
That would be something that's interesting because they have been like when I was on here last time, Joe, we were talking about like who's going to come out of the rotation. Now it's like there's three friggin' spots in the rotation. So maybe they do go out and get a Jacob deGrom, but $37 million a year for a guy at his age is a huge, huge risk. As a Mets fan, would you like to see it?
Yeah, because the window is now. You got Alonso, you got Lindor, you got Soto's tearing the cover off the ball. You give me Jacob deGrom in a short series, especially because it's back home. I just think it would really be a huge igniter to the fan base. And look, Uncle Stevie doesn't care about money. I think we've proven that already. He just does not care. He gives 0 Fs. So I'm okay with it if he's okay with it. Edward Cabrera, another good start from him. He was mentioned on our buy video earlier this week. And again, I hope you did because it was another tremendous start from him. He's probably going to be out there in the trade streets as well. 5 1/3 innings. I would be out there trying to acquire him. 6 strikeouts. Drew Rasmussen shut out the Royals over 5 innings. Now, I want to talk about this start. So they beat the Royals. He's 6 wins now in 7 decisions. He has a 2.45 ERA on the season. He was pulled, though, after 5 innings with just 62 pitches. That's the lowest pitch count in any start this season for Rasmussen. So what do you make of that, getting pulled so early? Like, I understand last year worked out of the bullpen too, and Rasmussen's been a guy who's been absolute godsend for fantasy rotations, but what does the second half look like for Rasmussen as the workload starts to pile up?
Well, I think part of this is that the Rays are just a very frustrating team to roster pitchers and players in general on because of, Rays are going to Ray and all that type of stuff. They will do things that are frustrating, whether it's bullpen usage, platooning, or sometimes with starting pitching duration in terms of a game. The thing with Rasmussen where it doesn't bother me so much is that he's had a couple of elbow surgeries, a couple of arm surgeries. So I think that they are just being very, very careful. We're exactly at the halfway point, and he's at 84 innings, so he's pacing out to 170 innings. Maybe he goes slightly under that with them trying to keep him healthy, but I could still see Rasmussen getting to, another 70 plus innings rest of season, and maybe it just comes with 5-6 inning outings and they're not going to push him. But I think he's still going to be incredibly valuable. I worry a little bit in that ballpark in the summer months, but they did kind of front load their home schedule to avoid a lot of that heat in Tampa. So I think Rasmussen is fine. If somebody's worried about this, I wouldn't mind throwing an offer at them.
Well, Welsh is gone, and he didn't believe in Jacob Lopez in the last 2 starts.
Hmm.
Maybe Joe Orrico does, because he just blanked the Tigers for 7 innings now. So I get it. He doesn't throw real hard. I understand. 21 strikeouts in his last 19 innings, though, in the last 3 starts. I don't know, Joe. I think this is going to be a hot topic on waiver wires. I think Lopez is going to be a very trendy pickup this weekend. I can understand why people weren't buying it after the first start. After the second start, people kind of go, well, whatever. Now the third start against the Tigers, I think people will buy in now and buy in hard.
Yeah, that was kind of the big test, was going up against the high-powered offense. Houston has been okay, pretty decent this year, but he'd also kind of beat up on Kansas City, beat up on Baltimore, Minnesota, teams that have been, kind of varying degrees of success. But Detroit's a top-tier offense, so 7 shutout innings against them is the most encouraging thing we've seen from Lopez. I'm starting to buy into it. I don't know that I am fully bought in where I'm going to be throwing, 10% of my fab at him or anything like that, but I think that he's a really, really solid arm. I'm just trying to look ahead to his next start. It looks like it will be at Tampa next week. So he's got at Tampa and then versus San Francisco. So at Tampa is going to be another test, because that ballpark with that lineup over the last month in June, Tampa's been the #1 offense in baseball. So I'd kind of lean towards sitting him and wanting him to prove it another time out again, but I wouldn't fault anybody for starting him at this point.
All right, one more note. Actually, 2 more notes on pitchers yesterday. It's all pitching today at the headlines.
Yeah.
Max Scherzer returned. I almost got the line. I said 4 2/3, 3 runs. He went 5 innings, 3 runs. So pretty close there. What'd you make of the Scherzer return to the Toronto rotation yesterday?
I was kind of encouraged and kind of not at the same time. Like, he struck out the side in the first inning that also did feature, giving
got
up
a frozen
runs.
Joe, and it's not me. It's not me for once.
Can you hear me?
Joe Orrico is frozen. I can hear you fine, but the problem is you're frozen. So we'll get Joe Orrico back in just a second. Let him come out of there. And in the meantime, we're going to talk about another start that was pretty awful. There's Joe Orrico. He's back now. So Joe Orrico, finish up Max Scherzer, and then we're going to move on to another pitcher that I think is droppable now across the board.
So Scherzer, it was kind of encouraging. The 3 walks, not what I really want to see. He did strike out the side in the first, and then only had 1 strikeout the rest of the way. But considering it was his first start back, 3 earned runs in 5 innings, it could have gone a lot worse for Max Scherzer. So I was pretty encouraged. His next start, it looks like he's going to get the ball against the Yankees. A little bit of a tricky one, but I'm feeling pretty confident in him right now.
Let's go to Alex's question here. What's up, Joes? Should I trade my Devin Williams and Langford for Michael Garcia? You want to make that move? I think it's a little much.
Maybe a little much. Langford's got his 3rd oblique problem of the year that he's dealing with right now, which is kind of tricky. And Williams, I'm pretty confident in Williams, but he's also going to be splitting with Weaver a little bit. So I think it's a little much, but it's not terrible.
Langford, Cruz, Profar, rank them rest of season for Michael.
I'd go Cruz, Langford, and then Profar. I don't really have high expectations for Profar. I know he's been doing pretty well in his rehab, but
sure has.
After the juice, at age 32, career year, I don't feel confident there.
All right, Zac Gallen is terrible. His last 7 games, he has an ERA of 6.59, just 29 strikeouts in 41 innings. I mean, you got to drop this guy. Another 5 runs yesterday. Just brutal. Like, I don't even care if it's a deeper league now. I mean, if Jacob Lopez was out there, would you drop Gallen for him? I think I would.
I would drop Gallen to pick you up, Joe, at this point.
I'm pretty good still, but not in the pitching world. I was never a good pitcher.
Pitching was
never my bag. I was a catcher,
I was a catcher, and then I was a pitcher, and then I was later in my baseball career a corner infielder. But that's neither here nor there. My baseball career that ended at 16 years old.
Catcher and second base. That's where I played.
Oh, I was not good in the middle infield. I wasn't quick. I was never quick.
I was quick. I was always quick. I even hit leadoff for Legion Ball back in the day. Stole a few bases. Really? I was good at. I wasn't the fastest kid, but I was quick and I know how to get good jumps and I could do all the little things. But I digress. Let's talk more about Who else you would pick up besides? I mean, look, Gallen right now. The problem is, like, if you have him in dynasty and keeper leagues, I don't know what you do with him. Like, I just, I think you just move on in some fashion, whatever it is. It's crazy because just a couple years ago, we were talking about it on the live stream yesterday. He was a Cy Young candidate 3 years ago, and now he's a guy that you can't even roster. It's an incredible drop off.
Zac Gallen, even with this year factored in, has a 3.55 career ERA. He has always been really dependable. 2021 was a bad year, but other than that, 2.81 ERA, 2.75, 2.54, 3.47. He's been great. The thing that's really especially concerning to me right now is that he's had a cupcake run of opponents. The White Sox beat you up, the Rockies, San Diego. In San Diego, we think, okay, but San Diego's been a pretty poor offense for the last while. Outside of that, Cincinnati hasn't been great. They got to him. Atlanta, Pittsburgh. He can't do it against anybody. So I think we're done here. I think I'm done with him. I'm done with Bailey Ober. These guys can both get off of all rosters at this point.
Joey P is probably built like a fire hydrant. You ain't wrong. Right. Ooh, let's go. Yeah. All right. Let's go to some more rookie stuff. Let's go to Nick Kurtz. By the way, Gallen's just 29 years old, too. I just want to throw that out there. Like, this is his prime. It's crazy. Anyway, rookie. Let's stop being depressed. 3 for 3 with a 3-run homer for Nick Kurtz yesterday. He continues to just pound the baseball. Emmett Sheehan got 13 strikeouts in 6 perfect innings on Wednesday at AAA Oklahoma City, And Dodgers, what are you doing? Get that kid back in the rotation, please, for the love of God. Didier Fuentes, not so good. 8 hits, allowed 6 runs, just 1 strikeout, 3 to third. He's just not ready. He's not ready for big time. I don't think we can evaluate, where he's at now. I think he's scared. Throwing him out there against the Mets is not fair, and especially the way Juan Soto's been hitting. Juan Soto's crushing baseballs. But the Sheehan start, Joe, that's the one we got to get to. Sheehan right now is still available in like 70% of leagues. That's crazy. Like, you got to go pick this kid up. He is definitely going to be back at some point in this rotation.
Yeah, absolutely. His stuff is good. The strikeouts are good. The command has always been a little bit of an issue, but so far, so good. He was literally, I think it was 6 perfect innings with 13 strikeouts. So this is about as good as it could possibly be for him. The Dodgers are going to need him again probably very soon. So I guess the question becomes for a lot of people, Emmett Sheehan or Jacob Lopez?
Lopez sticks in the rotation longer because eventually Glasnow does come back, and you hope that Snow comes back. In the meantime, immediate help is, I think, Lopez, believe it or not. What do you think?
Yeah, I think immediate it's Lopez. If I was going to rank them rest of season, I'd probably put Sheehan above, but I think they're probably the number 1 and 2 best pitchers on the wire at the moment in most leagues.
Sheehan or Edward Cabrera is not close. I want Cabrera.
I want Cabrera too. He's somebody that worries me a little bit, but he's been really good.
I don't know what else. I mean, honestly, for 2 months, he's been brilliant. 2 months now. April, he was terrible. Since April, he has a 2.5 ERA. I mean, and that's a fair amount of starts. It's not like 3 starts. We're talking like 7 or 8 starts now. So, I mean, this is what he is right now, and you just got to go with it. Some rumors going that Bob Melvin told reporters that Rafael Devers is going to possibly start some games at first base in the upcoming trip. So there you go. And Christian Campbell is playing first base today at AAA. Just putting that out there too.
I should say real quick about Devers, though, that we kind of need him to get in the field at some point because we're trending towards utility-only eligible Devers in 2026. So let's get some reps somewhere. Yeah,
you think he gets 10?
Probably not. Maybe if it's like Yahoo, because Yahoo you just need 5.
Well, Yahoo you just have to look at a position and then
trip over second and you're second base eligible.
There you go.
Yeah, but 10 might be tricky.
Yeah. Speaking of the Red Sox too, by the way, because we're just talking about Campbell. Richard Fitz really gave a lift to that Red Sox rotation yesterday. Our boy. And then Dickie Lovelady got let go in the same day.
I know.
It's very upsetting. Very upsetting.
And they started calling him Richard again right away. Richard Lovelady sent down. It's like, have some respect. It's Dickie Lovelady.
Put some respect on his name. It's Dickie Lovelady. And if you've dropped your Dickie Lovelady, maybe you should try Kaisertrex. Right now is a great time to know your T-score. And, if right now you are maybe not where your performance needs to be, could be a sign of low testosterone, a condition affecting about 30% of adult men in America. Kysotrex is an FDA-approved testosterone replacement therapy designed for men like you. It's not an injection. It's not a gel. It's a twice-daily pill that fits seamlessly into your active lifestyle, helping restore your testosterone to optimal levels. Know your T-score today and get tested by visiting Kysotrex.com/testing kit. That's KYZATREX.com/testing kit by prescription only. Kysotrex is a controlled substance and can be a target of abuse. Kysotrex is not for use in pregnant women or men with prostate or breast cancer. Safety and efficacy in those younger than 18 is not known. Tell your doctor about any and all medical conditions or medications you're on. Serious side effects could include increased blood pressure, worsening prostate symptoms, increased risk of prostate cancer, blood clots in the legs or lungs, decreased sperm count, liver problems, enlarged or painful breasts, breathing problems while you sleep. Common side effects include swelling of the ankles, feet, or body, increased red blood cell count, increased PSA, prostate, I don't know what prostate is, prostate-specific antigen levels. PSA is a test used to detect prostate cancer. Report these symptoms immediately to your doctor and call your doctor today to learn more about Kysotrex. For questions, more information, or just to talk about your feelings, visit Kysotrex.com or call 1-833-949-5040. I can't wait, Joe Orrico, where you have to do these reads in September. You get ready? Maybe you should do it tomorrow. Just for it. See what happens.
I'll happily do it tomorrow.
Yeah. Well, let's see. We'll see what the read is for tomorrow. All right, let's get to the ups and the downs here and the fun facts, because we got a lot of fun facts. Juan Soto, 2 for 4, 2 homers yesterday. Of course, I am in the home run hell because I had Ohtani and I changed it 2 days ago. He went yard. I had Soto yesterday, changed it to Ohtani. He went yard twice, so I'm just miserable. But the multi-homer game was his 27th of his career. He passed Jimmy Fox for the most multi-homer games before turning 27 years old. Holy crap. I think we forget Juan Soto's 26 years old.
I know. He's my age.
Crap. Look how much he's done with his life.
I know. And here I am.
Stop and make you think, Joe Orrico.
And I'm just here talking to you. Look, what decisions have I made that led me to this point?
I don't know. I hope that we get a Richard Fitz followed by Dickie Lovelady, kind of start at some point. That would be great. Ronald Acuna is going to compete in the All-Star Game Home Run Derby. That's exciting. In Atlanta, hometown guy. I think I might just bet on him to win that. I'm telling you right now. And Jacob deGrom, Jacob Lopez, and Jacob Misiorowski did something special yesterday. It's the first time 3 pitchers named Jacob or Jake delivered scoreless starts on the same day. I bet you didn't know that, Joe Orrico.
That's from the Sarah Lang's handbook, it sounds like.
It is exactly where I think I got that stat today. So let's go to 3 up and 3 down. Max Muncy at a grand slam. Joe Adell, 2 for 4, 17th home run. Joe, where are you at with Joe Adell? I haven't been buying, but now I'm getting to a point where I might have to concede. I don't know. What do you think?
He's made improvements every year of his career with the strikeout rate going down. The power metrics have gotten better. Like, he's a 15% barrel rate. That's an elite number. 47% hard hit is also the best of his career and is a really solid number overall. The swinging strikes are still a little bit too high. I wish he didn't chase as much. Like, he's not a fully polished hitter, but if you're just straight up looking for power, Joe Adell may end up hitting another 15 plus home runs rest of season. So I don't mind it from that standpoint. I don't know that he's a really well-rounded asset considering the bad lineup and the poor batting average, but just strictly for power, I like him a lot.
Yeah, I would agree. At this point, you got to just acquiesce and say maybe it's finally just clicked after all these years. And it's been a while. Zach Wheeler struck out 8. That's the last one, but no decision for him. That kind of sucked. So again, everything just blew up yesterday. My bets, they were so bad, but at least I'm going to own it. The downs yesterday, Camilo Doval, 4 runs, 3 earned. He has not been good. His ERA, his last 2 appearances went from 1.59 to 2.78. So rough patch. Are you worried about him keeping that job at all, Joe?
Not really. Like, Rodriguez is a really good arm behind him, but I think that Doval, the guy with the experience, is who they want to have in that role going forward. So I think that he's still pretty secure.
Okay. Next on the downs here, we had Erick Fedde allowed 8 hits, 7 runs, and Gavin Williams, again, just kind of sleepwalking through life, I feel like. 4 runs, 3 of them earned, no decision, 5 1/3 innings. A lot of us had high expectations for him. His last 6 outings, Joe, 32 innings, 23 strikeouts, 19 walks. That's just not good. Like, it's just the Gavin Williams that I think we saw in spring training that got everybody excited. I haven't seen him this year, really.
No, like flashes here and there, and people will point to the ERA being 3.68 and say he's having a good year, but that whip is killing you. 143 without really much strikeout upside, 80 strikeouts in 80 innings. Like, I don't even see him as somebody that's a must roster player if you're talking about shallow leagues. I think that he's more of a streamer that we kind of tricked ourselves into thinking was going to be really, really good. His next start is at Wrigley against the Cubs. Don't know if I want to do that. After that, it's against the Tigers. So I think you're dropping him in shallow formats unless you really feel confident about those 2 starts, and you probably shouldn't.
Down to the injuries now. Jordan Walker goes on the 10-day IL, appendicitis, so hope he's doing okay. Alex Bregman, unlikely to return before the All-Star break. That's not shocking. I think we all thought that would probably be the case, but just something to note. Mark Vientos is going to rejoin the Mets actually today against Atlanta, so we'll see how that all works out. Maybe some time away to clear his head is exactly what he needs. Any hope for second half, Mark Vientos?
I just redid my rankings. I did like a midseason update, and I think I had him as my 12th or 13th third baseman, so like on the fringe of rosterable in standard leagues. I think there is a chance. You know, we saw really great stuff from him last year. I think the power is pretty legit, even though the metrics would suggest that he's taken a step back this year. I don't see him as a 7% barrel rate guy. I think he's definitely in the double digits, or he should be. And if you look at Fangraphs' rest of season projections, all of them call for 12 or 13 home runs going forward. And in that lineup, at third base, which is a terrible position, that's still valuable. So I do have some hope, but man, it's been an awful draft pick this year.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Oh man, I kept him in my home league for $2. I thought it was a genius, and he's been terrible. I ended up trading him in a big package deal for Glass now because he was only $2. So I traded him. I traded Marcelo Mayer, and I was like, let me take a shot because I got a shot at.
Am I frozen? Or...
Struck out 5 in a rehab. Oh, am I frozen now? Did we all get a freeze? I don't know.
I don't know if it was you or me
there.
There
was okay.
There was a brief little something.
It's apparently it's me. So apparently I'm okay though. Seth, am I okay? You can see me okay? This is a very dangerous game we're playing with the internet here today with both of us on here. Reese Olson struck out 5 and 2 runs in 4 innings in his rehab start. Casey Schmidt, x-rays were negative on the wrist. Zach Neto's day-to-day after the MRI on his right shoulder didn't reveal any structural damage. Luis Robert, man, oh man. Ugh, what a miserable year for him. Hamstring tightness, he's day-to-day. Ugh, just a miserable season. I was really hoping that Robert would get back on track this year. It's just been terrible. Bryce Harper took BP on Wednesday. Lance McCullers threw a bullpen session, and Spencer Arrighetti also threw a bullpen session. So lots of help coming from that rotation in Houston. They need some offense to go along with Pena. That's what they need. Eugenio Suarez took light BP on Wednesday. Wyatt Langford, again, as you mentioned, Joe, absent with the side tightness. It's been an ongoing thing for Wyatt Langford. Hunter Green is going to throw a bullpen next week, and Shane McClanahan was able to throw off a mound Wednesday. I still say we do not see Shane McClanahan this year. What say you, Joe Orrico?
Oh, God. I've been stashing him the whole year. I'd be so pissed. I hope we see him
in that Strider deal in my home league. That's him and Alcantara. Yeah.
Get
out of my roster.
Contra, that's another one. I hope that McClanahan is able to come back. I think that we're trending towards he probably will at the end of the season, especially if the Rays are still competitive, and I expect that they probably will be. So, you know, I think a full-blown shutdown, there'd need to be another setback. I think if he continues on at this pace, then he's probably coming back. But in the year of Brandon Woodruff,
what does that look like, Joe? I mean, look, it's already the 26th, and he's just going to throw off a mound yesterday, right?
Yeah.
So that's the 25th. Throwing off a mound, he's going to build up, right? So maybe around, mid-July, he could possibly start to make rehab starts, and you would need a bunch of those.
And
maybe August?
Maybe mid-August, and then maybe you get 6 to 8 starts out of him.
Ugh. Yeah. I think that's the number. Over under 6.5 starts. I'm going to go under.
6.5 is a great line. I'd probably take a hair over. I'd probably go 7 or 8, but that's a proper number to set.
Peanuts and Cracker Jacks. Over under 6.5 starts for Shane McClanahan. Drop your comments here on the Twitch. Let's go to our favorite segment here. It's the best bets
of the day
with Joey P and Joe Orrico. I can't be worse than yesterday, or I hope not. Philly at Houston. Under 7.5, minus 105. You got Hunter Brown, Sanchez, two of the best there is out there. So I'm going to go with the under on this one and say it's more of a pitcher's duel. Freddie Freeman has great numbers against Austin Gomber. 429 career batting average, 1396 OPS. So give me minus 120 for Freddie Freeman to drive in a run. And give me the Marlins on an upset. I'm feeling frisky, Joe. I'm feeling frisky. Jansen Junk is on the mound against Hayden Birdsong. I think the Marlins can squeak out a victory. Giants still have trouble hitting the baseball, even though they got Devers. The offense still struggle bus a little bit, and Jansen Junk has actually pitched pretty well. So those are my bets for today on Thursday. What are yours?
So I was gonna go for the Philly Houston under, and I saw you had it, and I thought we might hold hands on that one, but I let you have that one on your own. So I went and pivoted to Toronto money line. Kevin Gausman going up against Tanner Bybee. This one really comes down to the recent performances of the offenses. Cleveland's offense in June is the third worst in baseball. The only worst teams offensively are the White Sox and the Pirates. Kevin Gausman has had some struggles up and down this season, but I think this is a spot for him to really succeed, especially because Toronto's offense has been fantastic. Toronto has been on par with the Dodgers in June in terms of their offensive output. And, I think they're probably going to slow down at some point, but I think they can definitely maintain that through today. And by the way, these are a lot of early games today. So if you are trying to tail, a lot of these are 1 p.m., 2 p.m. Eastern start times.
Yeah.
Usually I try to pick night games, but there's only one tonight.
Me too, but there's only one. So it's like,
Yeah.
something in the afternoon. I tried my best. So
Yeah. Moving on to a guy you probably have never heard of, and I wouldn't hold that against you, Dietrich Enns, who's going to be getting the ball for the Tigers today against the Athletics. 34-year-old journeyman type. He's only made one career start, and I just figured this is going to be more of an opener. 3.5 strikeouts doesn't seem like a crazy high number for him to meet, but I don't see him going past maybe 2 or 3 innings. So getting that one at plus money feels like a pretty solid bargain to me. And then Jansen Junk over 1.5 walks. Like Joe mentioned, he's been pitching well. This one comes down more to the Giants. In the month of June, they have the highest walk rate in baseball, almost at 11%. They added Devers into their lineup, who has been walking 17% of the time this year. So over 1.5 walks for Jansen Junk at a really nice plus 145 line.
Just 2 Joes betting on Jansen Junk. That's what we're doing today, baby. And of course, if you're betting on Jansen Junk or any junk, make sure you do it over at fantasypros.com/leading off. That's where you can go bet $5 on FanDuel, win $250 instantly if your bet hits. Again, you can only get this offer at fantasypros.com/leading off. That's the place. And don't forget, download the Betting Pros app. Bet smarter, not harder. Use the tools at Betting Pros and you get the premium ones for 7 days for free. That's right, I said it, for free over at bettingpros.com. And just download the app right now. Sync your sportsbooks for free. So much free stuff. So much goodness. All right. Home run board. Let's check it out. I'm falling behind. I'm in a bad spot. But Wonky Penguin is getting it done. Who did Wonky? Wonky got 2 yesterday. I can only assume she also had Mr. Soto. That would be my guess. So good for her. Georgia at 35. Good to see somebody representing us here. 23 still the number. I'm still at 19. I got to figure something out, man. 21 would have been nice for me if I had Soto. So bad. Sammy Sosa jersey still up for grabs. Joe Orrico, where are you going for your home run call today? Not a lot to choose from.
Not a ton, but I'm targeting Austin Gomber. Pretty much any bet you can make against him, you should be making it today. I think the earned run line is set at 4+, but just take it because he's awful going up against the Dodgers. So Andy Pages is going to be my home run call. I believe it was plus 350 or plus 375, depending on your book.
That's a good one. I'm going to stick with Freddie Freeman. I'm also going Dodgers, plus 400 there. Just playing the numbers against Gomber. He's got a bunch of home runs against him in his career. So, again, go to our Discord, fantasypros.com/chat. That's where you can join the home run contest. And don't forget, here on our Twitch, if you haven't already subscribe because before you know it, football season is going to be here. Welsh, myself, Bogman, we're going to do Out of Bounds in a couple months here on live on the Twitch. We're going to be doing other content here. We've already got some best ball content going on. So it's not just baseball here on Fantasy Pros. We're going to be doing the NFL coverage, which is ironic, right? Because that's our bread and butter is the NFL. But for Twitch, we've been kind of the baseball channel here because that's how we started the season. But football's coming, so we want you to be joining us here on Twitch. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For Joe Orrico, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids. So many Joes. Are you excited for Jansen Junk? Be honest. I am.
I am as well. Let's see him throw wild, baby. Throw wild.
Yeah. Jansen Junk, Richard Fitz, Dickie Lovelady. That's been Baseball 2025.